screwed this all up with the original uh, podcast invite was supposed to be for today for the Final Four, so we could discuss that. And for some reason, yesterday, under the influence of probably multiple, uh, well, they're barbiturates, I think they were called, maybe. Um, I had messaged you guys and was like, "You guys ready for Sunday? Podcast?" And you're both hell yeah, hell yeah. And then it just clicked like it was going to be Sunday. And then today I'm fucking around looking for something to watch, and I put on Prime or Paramount because I'm watching that new Mobster.
Yeah,
Uh,
Mobland.
yeah, Mobland. Yeah, it's pretty good. Guy Ritchie. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's England's Quentin Tarantino, pretty much. That's the way I see it. Uses the same actors. It has a special way of how they direct. It's very them. If you're
Yeah.
watching a
Yeah.
Tarantino, if you're watching a Guy Ritchie movie. Anyway, getting off topic. So I put that, Paramount on, and I realized, oh shit, the Final Four's today. We were supposed to discuss the Final Four and then like maybe have something like after the championship or during the championship. So I apologize. That was my fault. Thank you, KJ, for making it. Jimmy, I hope you make it too. Sorry if you can't. I fucked up. So, oh, there's Jimmy right there. Let's see what he has to say. Oh, he's out working. He's a working man. Yeah. So, KJ, welcome. Thank you for making it. How you doing?
Good, good. Yeah, I'm ready
How
for the Final Four to kick off. So
okay. Hold on. I'm sending this real quick so I don't fuck it up. Don't. Why am I? Almost sent him the sunglasses emoji, like on the smiley face. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. Uh, my bad, bro. This was on me. Send. Okay. All right. Jimmy may listen. So, Jimmy, if you're listening again, I'm sorry. I fucked this all up. Final Four. Okay. Did you watch any? Which games did you watch last week?
uh so I watched that Auburn game.
Mhm.
Um and that was a crazy game. I'm not sure if you saw that X I posted on X, and I tried to copy you on it, but as we all know, Janai got injured towards the late part of the game, and it was an ugly injury, at least according to the replay. I mean, I couldn't even watch it because they, replayed it multiple times. But his elbow hyperextended when he landed, and
Oh,
at the same time, his ankle twisted, you know, in a crazy manner as well.
yeah.
Um,
Can I
but
just before you go on, I
yeah,
just point out that I am so happy the way and TV and watching and streaming sports has become, because remember there was a time there when there were injuries in sports, they would show it over and over and like the Theismann hit, like when he got snapped, like they showed that shit on TV over and over and over again. I didn't see it, but that's the way it was spoken. And growing up watching sports, whenever dudes like suffered horrific injuries, they would just play it over and over and over again. And then there was a short period where they were like, we're not going to show that again. It was too gruesome. And you could never find it. You'd like have to go on Facebook. This was, I guess, when Facebook was big, and try and find the injury. But now, thanks to streaming and like YouTube TV and all this other shit, people just go, nope, rewind, watch this.
yeah,
And then they record it and you see it everywhere. So, yeah,
yeah,
again, that sucks for him. Hyperextension of an elbow, especially for a basketball player. I mean, a knee, elbow, ankle, that's your life.
yeah. Yeah, and he's predicted to be one of the top draft picks in the NBA draft coming up. So um,
May have
I
just
know,
dropped.
like the whole crowd there. I think it was an Auburn mostly crowd. But they were like, it was all like silent, because that's a bunch of money right there on the ground,
Yeah.
injured. So,
A
and then they
possible
walked,
championship.
yeah, yeah, and then they walked them back to the training room, took them off the court, and they were played okay without them, but you could tell their hearts weren't in it the first couple minutes just because you could see it was on his teammates' mind,
Yeah,
of
that's
how he
hard
was
to
doing.
that's yeah, that's like, I mean, we both served in the military. Like, there were, I'm not saying this happened to us, but there are times like you were trained, something happened to your buddy, you still had to go to work and complete the mission, you know.
Right, right.
And I remember one time, shit, we were what was it, the Expando van. We were putting
Mhm.
the hydraulics on it, and we had those giant nuts and big ass screws. And we were like, the leadership, I think, were like talking about how fast we were going. Like, you guys are making record time because we want to get the fuck out of there. I think it was at the end of
Right.
like a field exercise, and somebody, you were down like tightening up, screwing the bottom. Somebody was on top of the container tight, and they like
Yeah.
dropped that
It's
fucking wrench.
Javier.
Yeah,
Arce. Arce.
yeah, the Puerto
And then
Rican cop.
that bolt slipped out from his hand, and I was directly underneath it, man, and knocked me the fuck out.
Split your fucking head open.
Yeah, man.
We had to
Oh
take you. I
man.
remember. We had
I
to take
just
you.
remember all I remember is like bending over because I was doing the bottom bolt, and all of a sudden I get this pain in my head, and I just grab my head, and then the next thing I know, I'm looking up, and it's Lieutenant Helling saying, "Are you okay? Are you okay?" I'm like, "What the hell?"
Yeah, I remember, dude, because all of a sudden they were like, "Shut it down. We got to get
Yeah,
into
that
the."
that was
I was like, "What the
yeah, we were
fuck,
doing an
man?"
exercise. We were doing an exercise at on Fort Eustis. So that
Yeah,
it was just a training exercise, I think, to get prepared for the field exercise.
yeah.
So we were
A
just
meeting
doing,
before a meeting, so we don't look like idiots
yeah.
at our own
So
meeting.
we didn't look like idiots at our own meeting. Yeah. So, but yeah, I had I think about 10 or 12 stitches in the back of my head. Um,
You're lucky that's all you got, because these things are fucking ginormous, dude. Like,
well,
if people are wondering what we're talking about, if you've ever seen pods, those people like that come drop off, though they use the hydro, just like we were trained to do. It was something that was put on our military license. You had to work those hydraulics, but I'm sure now they've not upgraded, but yeah, something like that, to the point where now like the screws are embedded in the hydraulics, so you can just turn them and then they lock, as opposed to us, you just had to put these, like, it's just like two metal beams on hydraulics that go against the container, and the
yeah,
holes line up, and then you just put in the screw in the nut, and you tighten it with this giant fucking wrench. And I'm sure now they're not like that, but that's what we're talking about. And that one of those things fell off, it splits you
yeah,
open.
and it was about a 10-foot drop, from the
Yeah,
top of the container because I was bending over at the bottom. So
yeah,
it was I don't know, like a what, 15 pounds maybe of a nut.
yeah. That's a lot of
But it
nut,
just,
dude.
yeah, and it
Take
dropped like,
right on the
man,
back of your head. It's a good thing it wasn't on your face.
oh shit.
Yeah, the jokes we could have had.
Yeah, I would have really been Scarface then.
Right? But okay, yeah, we'll get back to basketball. So he what's his name? Leahy? Is that his name? Did I say it right? I messed it up.
Janai Brooke.
Janai. Okay.
Yeah,
Janai. I
yeah.
don't know
So
where I got Leahy from. I made him
yeah,
Irish.
he went back to the training room, and then like I said, they were playing for a couple minutes, and then all of a sudden he comes back out, and it's he's talking to the trainer, and you can see that they're discussing whether he should go back in or not.
Yeah.
And that's when I posted, Daniel LaRusso's gonna fight because
It's the exact same scene.
I
You
know,
know,
he comes back in. He comes
limping
back
out.
in, and like the first play, he hits a 3-pointer. I'm like, what the hell? That's like sweeping the leg, or doing the crane kick.
Yep, which was
Um,
illegal. We
yeah,
all know that now.
yeah. But Yeah, you could see he was still kind of favoring that arm.
You
So
know,
I'm not sure of his health, but
see,
he said he was 100% and he's had time to, heal up. So it's hopefully he can go. At least
how
80 or 90% would be good.
okay, how long was he in the locker room for before he came back out?
I think about 2 or 3 like game minutes.
Okay,
So I mean,
maybe
um,
5 tops then? Okay,
yeah,
and you said
yeah,
it was a I didn't see it, but you said it was a hyperextension. Was it a pretty bad hyperextension, like,
yeah.
they
So
were afraid?
he was, it looked
Or
like he
was
was
it
going up for a rebound under the basket, and the way he landed, he tried to brace himself with his arm,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
and
As that's human to do.
it just bent the other way, and before that, you could see where he twisted his ankle. So he was off balance anyways when he tried to get this rebound or something, and he bumped into the guy, and just the way he landed awkwardly, and you could see it just bend the wrong way, and it was like, ooh.
Okay.
So
Yeah, I
yeah,
just wanted to make sure because sometimes they're like, if you hear like, if you watch basketball and, an injury happens and they tend to build it up so much because I guess it's because it's basketball, but, I mean, not to say that the horrific injuries don't happen. Remember that dude from Louisville who snapped his leg on a rebound or some shit?
oh yeah,
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 the, like, bone came out, compound
yeah,
fracture, okay. Basketball can hurt you. I mean, they're horrific injury, but for the most part, compared to other major sports, it really is not because it's not a contact sport.
right,
So,
right.
so sometimes when these injuries happen and you're watching the game, these broadcasters are like, "Oh my god," they kind of just build it up a little bit, but not too much because they're worried about people's families or whatever the fuck, being sensitive. But um, yeah, so I just wanted to make sure that if the way they had talked about it, was it as bad as it, I mean, looked? Because I'm questioning how quickly he comes back. A hyperextension of an elbow, and then you go out and hit a three. Like maybe it wasn't as bad as it was,
Well, it was
or
his offhand. It was his offhand, and he shot the three like with one hand, and
okay. Which
so
you
it
practice as a
wasn't like,
kid all the time.
I
So
mean, well, you could see too. I mean, if you watch any of the highlights of the game after the injury, like he's running down the court, he's just running, but his right arm, which is the one that got injured, is just hanging. So it's like
okay.
he's trying not to. He's favoring You can see where he's favoring his injured arm. Um,
Kind of like a just going off the adrenaline, the hype of what's going
yeah,
on. Maybe a
I think
cortisone. I
so.
don't know.
I think so.
You don't give cortisone shots for hyperextensions, do you? I don't know.
I
Like
don't know.
I would think they would give him some kind of minor painkiller, I would think, as
Yeah,
long as but
I
can
mean, he
you
didn't look like
diagnose?
he was in pain, but he didn't look like he was trying to. He didn't have full functionality of the his arm. I mean, there was times where he would bring up the ball with two hands and shoot it towards the latter end of the game, but you
Does
could see it was obvious he was favoring his arm
so
after
does
that injury.
does NCAA basketball have like injury reports? I've
Well,
never
I think it's up to the school. So a lot of times the
really.
schools, it's because I know there's I think like Coach Saban, like he would never report injuries.
Yeah.
He would just say
Or Belichick
game.
would have Tom Brady. I'm sorry to interrupt you.
No,
Belichick would have Brady on the injury report every week and then take him off like that Thursday. Yeah. Like, nah, he's
yeah,
yeah. Like, what the
right.
fuck? Yeah. But
Yeah,
anyway,
but
so yeah.
I think it's up to the discretion of the coach whether they want to disclose that or not. So I
Is
don't
that
think they're
sport?
obligated to. I mean, I think they have to do it by the game time just to let the referees know and to make the game official. But I don't think they're obligated to do it in advance, like
Do
2 or 3 days before the game.
you think it's because that I mean, because it's NCAA that some of these kids are minors, maybe, possibly, and they can't divulge medical information of minors?
Yeah, I mean, it could definitely fall
I
under
don't
that.
know. Somebody
It could definitely
smarter than
fall
us
under
may
that.
be listening and being like, "You fucking idiots. This is why." But
No, I mean,
yeah,
because there's a lot of privacy rules just regarding student athletes just because they're in school. There's
Yeah.
certain things that you can't disclose without their permission. So, it
Uh,
may be the athletes choice, whether they want to disclose it, or, the coaches in conjunction with the athlete, whether they want to disclose it as well. Because obviously, if you disclose your weaknesses, that gives your opponent, a chance to kind of, plan
yeah.
accordingly to play
And that's
against you.
why they
So,
have injury reports in pro sports. And I just
well, yeah,
I would
yeah,
think,
yeah,
I
for
mean,
pro,
for
but I'm not
multiple
sure.
reasons, but I would think
Yeah.
that uh because of how big gambling has got and how easily accessible gambling is and the billions of dollars it is now making, that they would kind of like be pushing for this to be able to sway games better, make more money, you would think, because if they have the insight or can better create odds, I don't know. I just
Yeah.
think it's weird that they haven't already made that happen. Like that the NCAA does not have injury reports, or if they do, it's up to the school.
Yeah, because I tried to look online for, that information, and I couldn't find it anywhere.
Huh.
Uh, I might not be looking in the right place, but I couldn't, you know, the only thing I heard was that Janai Broom like posted on X that,
Oh.
he or some social media that he's like 100. He said he's 100%. I doubt that,
They
but
always say that. Of course they're gonna say. I mean, are you
yeah.
unless you're what Colt McCoy after that one game at his last
Oh
game in
man.
college, and he's like, "My shoulder's done." Like, you asshole, you're about to get drafted. What the fuck?
Yeah.
The last word you say as a
Right.
college football player is "My shoulder is done." They're throwing,
Yeah.
yeah. So yeah, dude, I don't know. I wish him the best. I hope it's not one of those injuries that because of the situation that it occurred, or
Hmm.
while it occurred, the adrenaline. I'm saying that it's not one that lingers. Like all of a sudden, you wake up the next day and you can't fucking move your arm, and it's gonna, you like when you go to the gym. It's not the next day that you're hurting. It's the day after that. When you do legs that you can't get out of bed or you fall as soon as you step out of bed.
Yeah.
So, I mean, but he's had a week to get better. And as you said, he came on X and said he's 100%. So, you know, when do kids lie? Never. Um, so I mean, they beat a Michigan State, an all right team, I guess. They were number 2 seed. So good for Auburn. Did you have any more notes on that game, or I'm
Well,
trying to
just
steer
just
this. I'm trying to steer this one way or the other. I just figured we'd
okay.
go back one game and
Well, I
then
mean, just going forward into the next game, for the Final Four, I saw that. I think there's a couple factors that really play an important part. As you get closer and the competitions get better, and I think it's rebounds and free throws.
oh yeah,
And Auburn is, of the teams that are left, in the Final Four, Auburn has the most rebounds, per game, and Janai Broom he's like fourth, in the country, and he's, the top rebounder of the four teams that are in there. So I think that's going to play a part, but again, it's going to depend on how healthy he actually is. Because if they're not getting the rebounds that they need for second shots, or even defensive rebounds, preventing the other team from scoring, then they may have a problem.
right. Okay, I get so free throws and rebounds. I want to talk on free throws first. And it's one aspect of basketball that baffles me when guys miss this shot. Like I understand, you know, once here and there, whatever, but like guys that are like, oh, he's a 40% free throw shooter. It is something that happens in basketball pretty much at the end of every game. I don't care if it's regular season, I don't care if it's college, I don't care if it's fucking NBA or some, rec league, whatever.
Mhm.
Teams get into foul trouble, guys go to the line. If you're on the team, why? I mean, nobody's blocking you. No, it's a free fucking shot. It's
Mhm.
like to me. I played hockey, so to me that is a hockey player standing in between the face-off circles, mid slot as they call it, right directly in front of the goal, no goalie, and the guy gets a shot, and if he shoots, it's a goal. Um, so why aren't more players like better at shooting free throws? I don't get that. Like, spend the last 30 minutes of every practice shooting free throws.
Yeah. Well, I think I think part of it is, some players just haven't developed a proper um, technique as far as shooting the free throws, so they're just naturally not good at making the free throws. And others, are concentrating on their outside shot because their outside shot is, typically the one that's going to make them the money, get them to the NBA, not the free throws. And then again, it's mostly mental. When you step up to the line, you got to be confident and know it. But if you're tired, you just been playing, 35 minutes of basketball, and this is the last 5 minutes of the game. You're not as, you know, aware or strong as you were at the beginning of the game. So you're tired, your muscles, your legs are giving out on you. So I think it's a combination of things. But
That's
I
when
think
you
it's mostly mental, that you need to knock these down to win the game.
it's like it's I mean, you've seen Tropic, not Tropic Thunder, but let's get Tropic. Oh, Will Ferrell movie.
Mhm.
Shit. All right, I'm finding it. Um what's the movie? Basketball. ABA. God, people are getting mad at me. You know what movie I'm talking about?
Yeah, he played for the Tropics.
Yeah, yeah. What is the name of the movie? Semi Pro. Got it. All right. It took me a minute. But yeah, you get punched into jejunum. Woody Harrelson's coaching the team, and they're playing. That's the play they're gonna run when you're tired, and you can't even see. This is the play we're gonna run, and yeah, and then they're gonna run it till everyone throws up, and then Will Ferrell has never thrown up. He was actually, it was like he was in the news as a baby, and then Woody Harrelson punches him in the jejunum, and he barfs. So that's what I'm saying. Like, it's an aspect of the game that I understand. There are guys that are like point guards. Like, they're typically your highest uh free throw shooters, right? Because those are the
Yeah.
guys you inbound the ball to. So normally at the end of the games, they're the guys that get fouled. So he spends more time at the line. I guess, but what's stopping that power forward or that center, Shaq? I mean, but from just shooting free throws and being just as good as that point guard.
Well, I mean, I think it has to. One is, I think, whatever the coach just focuses on for the practice. Some of them, I'm sure they do focus on, free throws, but I don't think, I think some coaches favor, more, you know, plays than actual free throws. And again, Shaq had a terrible technique. That's why he could never make it because his hands were too big. His hands were so big that it was almost like holding a golf ball for us, and then
Yeah,
trying to shoot that.
but I mean, I get it, but I suffer from the same type, not same, but from disabilities due to my stature at shooting a basketball because I am short, I have small hands. So me finding that arc should be just as hard, if not easier, for Shaq to be like, oh, it's that. I just go, ooh, ball go in, you know. And but I get it that like he didn't really have to practice that too much because he was so dominant in the paint. When you're that big and that strong during that time during the game, I mean, all Shaq had to do was be able to count to three. Just count to three, take your foot out of the fucking paint, and then put it back
Right.
in until someone gives you the ball. But yeah, I just it I don't know. I just think that basketball players should at least be 50% shooting at the line. Every single one of them. Like in NBA. At least if you're going to be a professional basketball player, if you're not hitting 50% at the line, then what the fuck are you doing, man? What are you doing?
Well,
Okay.
too, I think it falls on the player too. If you want to get better at
Um,
something, you gotta you gotta practice beyond practice. You know what I mean?
right?
So after the practice, if you know you have, you need to work on your outside shot or your mid range or free throws, you should be
Those
doing
are
that on the off time. So
right. But I get that. But outside, mid range jumpers, that kind of stuff, that's all a little bit different because usually, for the most part, you have a defender against you when you're making those shots because that's how the game is played.
right,
So, I mean, depending and there's a lot of different variables that come in whether or not that's a good defender or not is going to affect your shot. But a free throw is just you, the ball, that fucking rim, and however many people are around you that you can just block out, hopefully, or they're not doing the weird shit. Are they still doing that? Can they do that anymore?
what?
The
Like,
distractional stuff when people are
yeah,
doing, they can
yeah,
still do them to a certain level.
yeah.
But yeah. So all right, we'll get off free throws. It I just wish they were better shooters. When it's a free fucking shot, man.
You
How do you
know,
miss? So rebounds. I love rebounds. I think rebounds will make you and break you because you can have like shooters that are not great. Okay. But you have, say, you have all right shooters, but you have great rebounders. Second chances is what's going to win you games. So
yeah,
I love rebounds.
absolutely.
I grew up with the Dennis Rodman at fucking
Oh yeah,
Chicago. So holy shit. I mean, how the hell do you win like like defensive player of the year, just like winning multiple seasons, leading the league in rebounds when you have Michael Jordan on your team who pretty much never fucking missed? How like that just it to watch those Bulls play was incredible, and Dennis
yeah,
Rodman to do what he did, he was getting everything, everything from guys that never missed. So when they did, he got it. But
yeah,
yeah, I love rebounds. I think strong rebounding will definitely win a game. Because your opponents are going to miss too. So I love a defensive part of a game. I was a defenseman playing hockey growing up. Not a good one, but I understood. I just couldn't
yeah.
apply the concept physically.
Uh,
All right, I'm getting off track. All right, where we at now? What do you got for me? We went to
so
who
I was
did
just we were just talking about the Auburn Michigan State game.
okay. You want to talk about how Florida beat Texas Tech?
Yeah, that's see again. Jimmy had mentioned this too that on the last podcast that yeah, Florida hasn't really started out strong. I mean, they did okay, but they were just. It just seems like they were. I mean, they weren't 100% for the whole 40 minutes, and they let Texas Tech get back in it. So I mean, if they play like they've played the past couple games, Auburn's going to beat them. Um, with or without Janai, I believe.
Ooh,
So they got to start out strong. I mean, from the get, and just now they actually have the best offensive rebounds, not total rebounds, but best offensive rebounds. So they have
Florida.
a good chance of getting second chance shots, like you mentioned. Um, but one of their weaknesses too is they tend to turn the ball over a little bit. So you can't score
It
if you're giving the
it
ball to
cancels
the
each other
opponent.
out.
Yeah.
It kind of
So
cancels each other out. You hope it does anyway. At the
yeah.
very least, you hope it cancels each other out. Yeah.
Yeah. So again, I
Oh,
think we picked Auburn, or excuse me, Florida for this to win
yeah.
between Auburn and Florida. So I still believe in Florida. It's just I don't know. Janai is kind of a unique player. So if he's 80 or 90% or better, then Florida's in trouble, I think. But if you can still see him favoring his arm and he's just not moving around as well, then Florida should. should take advantage of it.
Okay, here's the question. Um, he Janai is maybe not like 100%. Okay, you don't know the percentage of them. You're the coach, but you're afraid of him re-injuring. But you do need him in the game. Do you play him first half or second half?
Um,
Or do you put him in the first half? If you're worried as a coach, like I have to play him, but if I like, I'm just trying to think like a coach. Like, do I play him in the first half and see how he goes? Maybe it takes a minute for him to warm up, but also you're maybe risking him injuring it by the amount of time being played, or do you just
yeah,
wait until the second half and be like, now I need to go out there
I
like
def I
lose?
definitely would start him just because he seems to be like an emotional leader for the team. So I think they would, if he didn't start, they might come out flat, Auburn. But I would put him in, have him start, but I would monitor him closely to see if he's still mobile as he was, because he did twist his ankle as well. I don't think that injury was as serious as his elbow, but
Was this
so
at
if
the was this at the same time as the
the
elbow
same
injury?
time,
Oh,
yeah,
okay,
yeah,
okay.
it was all one um,
It was like a
play that got two injuries.
yeah.
Yeah, so I would just monitor him closely, and then if he's not playing as well or confident, I might kind of rotate him in and out because they got another big man that can kind of fill his position while he's on the bench and just give him some time to rest. And if Florida's taking advantage of him, and he's not able to stop him like he usually is, or able to get the rebounds that he typically does, then you may want to pull him too.
Yeah.
Um,
But that also, like, we're talking like Florida now has to scheme against uh him. Well, I mean, of course, like if you're a coach of Florida, I'm going through my head right now. You scheme to as if he's coming in at 100%.
yeah,
Okay, yeah. If he comes in any less, then okay, whatever. But um, yeah, I do. I think it's going to be a tough matchup for Florida. I know in our bracket, our perfect bracket. I mean, if they just would have listened to us, it would have been a perfect bracket, and it would have been a lot more fun to watch these games.
pretty much.
Yeah, that's just my personal opinion. But um,
Yeah, we
we have
we actually we actually would have had 100% correct for the Final Four if I
yeah,
didn't hate Duke so much. Because
hey man,
three of our four teams are in the Final Four.
yeah, you let your emotions get the best of you, and that's okay. I
I
mean, it
know. That's why
happens. You're human.
I don't bet on basketball because I'm too emotionally involved and I can't separate myself from,
Dude, if
and
if
be
if I ever see Notre Dame in fucking March Madness, I have them going to the Sweet 16 every damn time. And I think they only once, I think they got there in the past, yeah, like 2 decades. Anyway, I don't want to get into that, but yeah. Yeah, I feel you. It's you let your emotions get into it, but you know, in ours, I have Florida picked, but I have to uh make a confession that I have another bracket. Sorry.
no, it's fine.
Yeah, and it felt like I was cheating on you. But I have Auburn going all the way and winning in that one.
Oh, really?
Yeah, yeah. But I had them beating, I think,
Duke
was it Duke?
or Houston?
Was it Duke or I don't know. Who did I end up getting fucked over by? Arizona fucked me over somewhere.
Yeah.
Oh, Arizona,
Yeah.
yeah, when they got all right. KJ, take a big old swig if you need to, because we're gonna talk about probably the most frightening team in this
Yeah.
damn tourney right now, and you hate them as much as I do. It is the team just down the road from the best college basketball team ever, UNC, and they are called Duke University. Um, I did not expect this from them. This is coming from a guy that really didn't watch March or just college football. or college football, college basketball all season, but I paid attention to some of the big games. I like watching number ones go down. Um, but apparently everyone else saw something I didn't because in this other league, in the other bracket, 7 of like the 13 people that are in it have Duke to win it
Mm.
all. And it looks like they are playing that way. I What are your thoughts on Duke?
Um, yeah, I mean, I think because Cooper Flag, he's supposed to be the win the National Player of the Year, so I think that kind of influenced a lot of people, and just because some of the games they've won are been by a lot,
A
so it
lot.
hasn't been like they barely beat a couple teams. I mean, they
They
smashed us. They smashed us in the regular season, and then we
they
came
beat
close in the ACC championship tournament, but you
they
know, the
we'll
regular
just go
season they killed us.
we're gonna go back a little bit on Duke's run this far. They just they started off. We'll start from the beginning. All right. Duke originally plays Mount St. Mary's, whatever, 16 seed, beats them 93-49, pretty much doubles them up on points.
Mhm.
Next up, a number 9 seed Baylor, who looked all right coming out. Duke, 89 points. I think what is their lowest of this tournament so far. Against Baylor's 66. Does or does Duke have a defense? I didn't realize if they did. Uh, and then they play Arizona, who nope, I was wrong. Put up probably the best fight against Duke by putting up 93, but then Duke puts up 100. Triple fucking scores them and busts my bracket like a motherfucker. And then they go up against Alabama. Alabama, the highest scoring team in college basketball this year, only puts up 65
Yeah.
points against Duke's 85. I'm sorry, that was the lowest one, 85. And I don't know, man. Now they've got a
Yeah.
Houston team who I really, I, uh,
I think I think for them, if they were going to fall, it was going to be to Arizona.
yeah,
Uh, and now
damn
that
it.
they kind of overcome that hill, then it's kind of almost, I'm not going to say smooth sailing, but they've got a lot more confidence knowing that they have the momentum going into the tournament.
They're
Um,
they're
so
going it sounds bad the way I'm going to say it, but they're going downhill now with like the pedal to the metal. Like it was a climb, it was a struggle, but they were flooring it and just getting up there. But now it's smooth sailing. They can just let off the gas and they're gonna win the fucking championship. But dude, they are coming in fucking hot,
yeah.
hot, and it scares me because I don't think Houston is gonna be able to defensively slow down Duke.
Well, I mean, like I mentioned before, two of my things when it two of my items of, you know, that kind of guide me as to who will win is, rebounds and free throws. And Duke has one of the best free throws shooting teams in the country. They shoot it like 79%. So they're almost automatic at the line. And so I think the only way Houston can really win is if they play fast because they have a tendency to control the tempo. So they can kind of slow it down, speed it up, when they need to. I think that's the only way they'll be able to keep Duke like off kilter. You know what I mean? But they they have a tough challenge against them. But I do like Houston's defense. So I think Duke's offense versus Houston's defense will be, something to watch for the Final Four.
Man, and these we're talking
Also,
about
also,
yes.
if you remember in the '90s, there was a rap guy named Master P.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so his son is on Houston's team. So
What?
yeah, yeah, I found that out.
Wait. Master P still fucking because that dude was
No,
Master P.
well, his son is, I think, is like a junior senior. So it's, I mean, it
Oh,
would have
okay.
been 2002 or 2003 that he was born. So,
Oh shit. Okay, because yeah, I mean, I don't know what the thing because what wasn't Master P was in the military, right? He was in Desert Storm.
yeah,
Yes.
I think
I'm pretty
so.
that's why in the Make 'em Say video, there's fucking tanks coming out on the basketball court. Yeah.
Okay.
Him and Shaggy, I think both served
Yeah,
in
Shaggy was a Marine, I believe.
yeah, and I think they both served. I'm not sure if Master P was in there. I don't
I
know.
know
I may be
one of his artists was in Desert Storm. I know that for sure.
yeah, I could
But
be
I'm not
fucking
sure if it was actually Master P, but I do know one of his artists that was signed under his label was.
that may have been it. Sorry. I keep scratching my nose because my fucking cat is sitting behind the fan I have on and his hair is coming through and I think I'm allergic to cats. But I have 3 of them. Anyway, yeah. So okay, I'm sorry. We're talking Masterpiece son on
Houston's
Houston?
team.
Houston.
Yeah.
Okay. And what position does he play?
I think he's like a guard. It's number 25.
So he's not a starter.
No, he comes off the bench.
Is his name Kid P?
His actually is well, Masterpiece's first name is Percy Miller, and
Oh,
then and his son is Mercy Miller.
get the fuck out. Okay. I mean, all right. I mean it flows off the tongue pretty well.
Uh,
Yeah, but okay, so Mercy Miller is a bench player for Houston.
yeah,
And dude, oh the the if he would have been a starter, like you could have played his dad's songs and shit, like because they play music pretty much throughout basketball games if
yeah,
they're not televised. And
yeah.
they'll be, every time he hits a shot, you just play the make him say, oh, and then everyone just go, oh, it'd be
Man,
fucking great. So
you should have been a
fucking
marketing. You should be in marketing over in Houston, man.
well, I mean, it
Yeah,
would work if Lil P would just get a little bit better at basketball because
yeah,
if he's not hitting shots, it ain't worth it.
yeah. You're right.
When you're
You're
only
right.
making
You got
him
to make
say
the shot.
once a game, it's not
Be
you're
like,
making him
oh,
yeah, you're making
nah,
him
nah,
say,
nah.
oh no, no, no.
Yeah. Oh man.
Okay, I mean, I wish Houston the best. I need Houston to knock off Duke
Yeah.
because
Yeah, not
I mean,
to one thing too about them playing fast and they do have they create the best they have the best turnover margin. So typically when they're running fast, they're able to steal the ball or get the ball. But the one thing is last year Duke um Duke beat Houston in the Sweet 16 to
mhm,
advance. But that was a different Duke team. They didn't have Cooper Flag. But so I hope history doesn't repeat itself. But I think this Houston team can beat Duke. I think they can overwhelm them with their defense and just speeding up the game.
I need them to, and I hope they do, and I wish them the best. And that I mean, both these games are tonight.
Yeah,
And I'm gonna get this podcast up and going before those games start. But before we even get to that, the so we've got Auburn, Florida, Duke, Houston. Now your bracket says Florida beats Auburn, and then Duke beats Houston. Oh wait, we have Houston beating Duke because
yeah.
Duke we had losing earlier on. So out of this final four right here, disregarding your bracket, what finals game do you think would be the best?
Kind of stinks because I would like to see Houston and Duke in the final game, but they're on the same side of the bracket. I think that would, you know, I think the championship game may be a little bit of a letdown after the Duke and Houston game tonight.
Ooh,
But I think they're all quality teams, man. I think they each bring something unique to the table. Auburn's got Janai. Florida's just got a bunch of shooters, man. They're just a bunch of ballers, and then Duke's got Cooper Flag and Proctor,
The
and
butt
then
doctor.
that's right.
Yeah.
Don't forget to get checked.
Yeah.
Um,
Dude, I got another one coming up. I need to.
yeah,
I had my first one at
Houston and
40.
yeah, they actually think they started at 50, and then they said, well, we better lower the age because it seems like people need to get checked sooner. So
Yeah. Before I let you go on, just to say that it's not as bad as what the people make it out to be. Like they tell you the word the pre stuff, and we're talking about getting your butthole checked. What's the medical term? The wife just came home. She might know.
yeah,
What is it called? A
colonoscopy.
colonoscopy. Yeah, just get it done. Like, I mean, trust me, you don't want to have ass cancer. It is painful. I mean, if you've ever had anything in your butt that you didn't want there, it is extremely uncomfortable and painful, and it's a horrible way to live your life. So, what you need to do is just schedule with your doctor. They give you this fucking like Gatorade, whatever, and you drink it, and then it's just like you had too many wheat beers the night before. So you're in the bathroom, you stay close, you shit it all out. The next day, you wake up and or you go to a hospital. They put a fucking needle in your arm, hit you up with drugs, and then you wake up and you don't it's like it doesn't. You don't even feel violated. They're very gentle. Like I've
Yeah.
never like yeah. And then they send you home with pictures of your butthole, like you're supposed to recognize that it's yours. I don't understand that part of it, but um, so it's not that bad if you're ever just scared about, like I'm more scared of the what is it? The balloon check thing that they do with their finger, the prostate check.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like cuz that's like you're awake and it's just you and him in the fucking room and it's not
Yeah.
a and
That seems a little awkward.
yeah, like why can't and I've had this discussion with the wife before. Why can't they do it during the colonoscopy? They can put a little balloon at the end of that tube that, like, measures because it's like a pressure thing.
Yeah.
So it's like the pressure that you get back from a certain point that you touch. So, I mean, rather than a human going in there, why can't I just have a little tube that inflates that, like, measures the pushback and then
Mhm.
tells me whether or not I've got an issue? I'm just saying. How has a medical
Yeah.
I mean, these doctors love fucking finger and buttholes that much that nobody else has thought of this? Anyway,
Yeah.
okay, Duke Houston, Final 4. That's gonna be the you're saying that's gonna be the most exciting game, out of
I
these
think out of these
next.
two, I could be wrong, but I think that I just like the way those teams match up, offense versus defense. Um,
It's
so
like
it'll be
tall versus
interesting.
small, kinda.
Yeah,
Man, and that's the later game tonight. I think the first one is the Auburn, Florida game, and, man, I think Florida's gonna do it. I think they're gonna outshoot Auburn. I mean, that's how you win games, but, I think Auburn, I think they just I'm trying to fucking play my game, my little curse thing because
yeah,
I don't think, that offensive scoring teams just they tend to do better, but it only takes one game. And I think, like you said, with, Auburn's, uh, big man or best player hurt or possibly not being 100%, I think Auburn's gonna come out or Florida's gonna come out strong, fast, and just try and just overwhelm them, and Auburn doesn't come back. So, yeah, and then Duke, Houston is much I'm gonna
Mhm.
try and stay awake to watch that game. I hate being on the East Coast because they, like, start at 9 o'clock or 10.
I know.
Yeah, and then, basketball is, like, 4.5 hours long. They need that needs a damn pitch count or a what a pitch clock. The end of basketball games. Let's find a way to, you know, 30-second team fouls and all this other shit. Let's find a way to consolidate that a little bit. Anyway, so I'm getting off hand. And okay, Florida, Duke, Houston. I think if Duke beats Houston tonight, they win it all. Um,
Yeah, that would be a good. Yeah,
like you said, I'm probably just bleeding it in. Please tell me you're taking a pee because I am not gonna stop recording. It'll be like the scene in Naked Gun. Remember when he forgets that his microphone is on? He goes to the bathroom during the press conference.
yeah.
I've
I
never
try to
laughed.
hold.
I've never laughed so hard as a kid, and as an adult, that scene still gets me because he's just whistling European, and then he stops, and you think he's done, and he farts. Starts.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Huh.
Oh,
I'm
but
glad
see,
I
I'm just
amused
talking.
you. Am
Yeah,
I a clown? Do I
yeah.
amuse you?
Me too. No, you're just a funny guy. I mean, you're a funny guy.
What do you mean
you,
funny?
you make me laugh. Like I don't know. Oh man, I can't wait for these games. It's gonna be fun, and I think we should do this again when I don't fucking confuse it with dates and times, and maybe we talk about after the championship. We go back and just do like a big roundabout. What games we think were the best, kind of thing. We'll get
Yeah.
Jimmy into it and be better. But
Yeah. Well, if Florida doesn't win, I hope whoever team you have in that other bracket wins. So at least
Auburn,
you win something.
Auburn. I don't have Duke. I don't want. Yeah, that side of the bracket does not win for me. It's either Auburn or Florida. So cilantro, brother.
All right. Take care.